The stage was set for a showdown, one that would leave even the most aggressive interviewer scrambling for words. In a packed studio charged with tension, Pam Bondi, a former attorney general with a reputation for fierce principles, was about to flip the script on a host who believed he had her cornered. Before we dive into every riveting moment of that press conference, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share in the comments below. Have you ever seen someone turn the tables so completely? Let's get started. Under bright, almost blinding studio lights, the set of The Exchange exudes modern elegance. Cameras line the back wall, their lenses fixed on the podium where Pam Bondi stands with calm determination. The room, filled with reporters and industry insiders, buzzes with a quiet anticipation. Tonight's discussion, ostensibly about law, justice, and her tenure as Florida's Attorney General, had been hyped as a routine debate. Yet from the moment Pam stepped on stage, there was an unmistakable edge in the air. The audience sensed that the real story was about to unfold. Across from her sits Graham Layton, a talk show host known for his relentless, high-pressure style. Dressed sharply and armed with a stack of cue cards, Graham has built his reputation on cornering guests with aggressive questioning. He's expecting a typical day of rapid-fire political debate, a chance to score a headline by forcing Pam into a defensive position. But tonight, as the cameras start rolling, the energy in the room hints that nothing will go as planned. Graham leans forward with a practiced smirk and a tight-lipped smile that never quite reaches his eyes. "Pam Bondi," he begins, "you've been at the center of controversy for years. Critics say that your decisions as Attorney General hurt more people than they helped. Would you say that's a fair assessment?" A murmur sweeps through the room. Pam meets his challenge with an even, measured tone. "That's an oversimplification of decades of work," she replies. "I have always made decisions to uphold the law and protect citizens. Leadership isn't about being universally liked. It's about doing what is necessary, even if it's unpopular." For the first part of the interview, Pam handles the standard policy questions with the poise of someone who has been in the spotlight far too many times. But then, Graham shifts his focus, his tone turning more personal and his questions more pointed. Graham's voice cuts through the room. "But aren't you out of touch, Pam? A lot of people believe that your policies only serve the powerful, leaving everyday Americans behind. Do you ever think about those you might be ignoring?" The question hangs in the air, heavy and deliberate. Pam's eyes remain steady as she folds her hands neatly on the desk. "Every decision I've made was with the intention of upholding justice and protecting all citizens," she states calmly. "If you have a new question related to today's discussion, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, let's not waste time on repetition." Yet Graham is relentless. Leaning in, he fires yet another version of the same question, each repetition designed to provoke an emotional reaction. The atmosphere grows charged, every camera capturing the subtle tension, the slight tightening around Pam's eyes, the determined set of her jaw, and the murmurs of anticipation from the audience. Finally, the pressure becomes too obvious. Graham, intent on forcing a breakthrough, asks, "So, why is it so hard for you to give us a straight answer? Is it because the truth is too inconvenient?" A heavy silence falls over the room. Every reporter, every viewer is waiting for Pam to flinch. Instead, she takes a slow, deliberate breath, her gaze never leaving Graham's. "I am here to discuss policies and lead with facts," she replies, her voice firm yet unyielding. "I refuse to be baited into a game of endless repetition or to manufacture outrage for the sake of clicks." Her response shifts the mood. The aggressive tone Graham had hoped for evaporates, replaced by a collective realization that this conversation is now about integrity, not sensationalism. The room seems to pause, absorbing the power of her measured words. If this moment of poise under pressure resonates with you, please hit that like button and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been in a situation where staying calm made all the difference? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that reveal the power of true leadership. Not ready to let the discussion end on that note, Graham shifts tactics. With a dramatic flip through a stack of papers, he declares, "Let's get specific. During your tenure, there was that high-profile lawsuit against a major corporation, a case where, according to some, the investigation mysteriously disappeared. Can you explain that?" Graham's question is crafted as a trap, designed to paint Pam as someone who protects the wealthy while ignoring the plight of ordinary people. The audience tenses. Pam's expression remains neutral, though a flicker of determination crosses her face. "Those claims were thoroughly investigated," she replies. "The legal process was followed. and there was no cover-up. Only the diligent work of our institutions. You present this as scandal, but the facts simply do not support your narrative. A murmur of approval ripples through the crowd. Some reporters nod, others scribble notes, realizing that Pam is not only defending her record but turning the argument on its head. Graham, sensing a crack in the armor he's built, moves to a more personal line of questioning. Pam, you've faced protests and accusations. Remember that incident outside the movie theater in Tampa? How do you justify walking away when people feel abandoned by your actions? The memory lingers. Pam's eyes darken slightly, but her voice remains steady. I recall that night clearly, she says. I was there for a screening, not to engage in political theatrics. I encountered protesters, yes, but I chose to act with dignity rather than escalate a volatile situation. Desperation does not justify violence, nor does it warrant the sensationalism you seem to crave. Her words cut deep, and for a moment, even Graham's aggressive smile falters. The audience listens intently as Pam continues, I believe in accountability, but I also believe that leadership means rising above the noise and focusing on real issues. A silence follows, a charged pause where every camera captures the genuine conviction in her eyes. Determined to regain control, Graham attempts one final pivot. So, if you truly understand justice, why do you defend a system that some say favors the powerful? He asks, his tone now edged with a mix of skepticism and desperation for a headline. Pam leans forward, her gaze unwavering. Justice isn't about who shouts the loudest or who benefits from a system, she asserts. It's about fairness, due process, and the courage to uphold the law even when it's inconvenient. I've built my career on those principles, and I will not let my record be distorted by vague accusations. Her calm defiance shifts the balance further. The aggressive reporter's earlier bravado is now met with a quiet storm of truth. The studio, once a battleground for manufactured outrage, now seems to echo with a deeper respect for genuine accountability. With the exchange drawing to a close, the atmosphere in the briefing room is transformed. The audience, once eager for sensationalism, now sits in reflective silence. Cameras continue to capture every detail. The resolute set of Pam's jaw, the fading smirk on Graham's face, and the approving nods from reporters who had once been adversaries. Backstage, as the session wraps up, Pam steps away from the podium. Her phone begins to buzz with messages of support and admiration. Social media lights up with headlines like, Pam Bondi shuts down hosts' baiting tactics, and a lesson in integrity, when truth triumphs over sensationalism. Journalists and commentators alike start to dissect the moment. A reminder that in an era obsessed with clicks, true leadership is measured by the strength of one's character under pressure. Now, I want to know, have you ever experienced a moment where standing firm changed the conversation entirely? Share your stories in the comments below. Your voice might inspire someone to choose truth over theatrics. If you found this story as powerful and thought-provoking as we did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth discussions on leadership, accountability, and the power of integrity. And don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss an update. Remember, in a world where headlines are made by shouting, it's the quiet strength of unwavering truth that leaves a lasting impact. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stand strong, speak honestly, and let the truth set you free.